I started picturing this 2.0 version of someone who trains clean, someone who has better skin, someone who eats clean, someone who lifts heavy, someone who is committed to their journey, and someone who has the best of every single thing possible. You have to know that this is 100% achievable and attainable for me, because that imposter syndrome that you have is 100% going to hold you back, and you have to shed your old skin. When a lot of people are trying to change, for example, they're trying to eat better, or they're trying to lose weight, they're trying to put on muscle, or they want to be anything that they want to do, right? But deep down, they have this imposter syndrome. They feel like they're the same person, or the person that they're trying to be is someone that they're not. That was me for years. The truth is, you don't change when you lose the weight. You change when you start to see yourself differently. And the vision comes first. The results just follow. For example, there was a time where it was 2021, I believe, January 2021, when I was about 200 pounds. Mind you, around a year or so before this, I lost 30 pounds of fat. And prior to this, I basically put on fat because my leg had this injury. I had this infection on my leg. Because of this infection on my leg, it was in a weird position where I couldn't really be active. It was right behind the leg, in the fold of the leg, basically. And because of this, I wasn't active. And even when the infection would recover, it would basically come back. And because of this, I had no momentum. And mentally, even then, I just couldn't get any momentum. I had always been an active person. I was always played sports. Even though I wouldn't say I would be in elite shape, I was still an active person. I just enjoyed mentally doing them things. And because I had this injury, and it was quite a bit of yo-yoing, my diet just suffered. My diet suffered. I basically got very, very fat and very, very unhealthy too. And in 2021, when I lost that 30 pounds, I put on 40 more pounds. So I went from 161 pounds to 200 pounds. And I thought to myself, you know what? When I lose weight this time, the 200 pounds, I thought I need to be aesthetic. I need to look like, I just need to look better. Because when I lost weight, I ended up with, I wouldn't say a proper skinny fat body, but I had lost a lot of size but a lot more than I would have liked. And as soon as I made this change in my head, in my mind, I just saw myself as this new person. Even though, you might think, what is this guy on about? You saw yourself as this new person. But the thing is, I just saw myself as this person I wanted to be, this person who's aesthetic, someone who looks good, someone who looks like they lift, someone who lifts heavy, someone who's aesthetic, someone who isn't, what's the word? I won't say insecure, but just someone who doesn't look like they've been wasting their time in the gym. And when I first started my fitness journey, I thought confidence was about appearance. I used to tell myself, you know what, when I have abs, I'll feel alright. But even when progress came, I still would find flaws. That's when I realized I was chasing confidence backwards. You can't hate yourself into a new version of yourself. You have to believe in that version first. And one day I just decided I'm finished thinking of myself as the old version. I started picturing this 2.0 version of someone who trains clean, someone who has better skin, someone who eats clean, someone who lifts heavy, someone who is committed to their journey, and someone who has the best of every single thing possible. You have to know that this is 100% achievable and attainable for me, because that imposter syndrome that you have is 100% going to hold you back, and you have to shed your old skin. And when I started doing that, when I made this change, the craziest part was my body catches up very, very fast. And what I mean by that is, when you see yourself as this person, right, say you imagine yourself with an aesthetic physique, and you start putting in the work, that you go to the gym, you do the right things, you do the cardio, you hit the weights, you take care of your diet, very, very quickly your body will catch up, and it will start reflecting the things that you see in your mind. And people even start noticing before you even feel ready. And that's when I realized the external transformation is just your internal consistency made visible. Once your mind is in alignment, your body just naturally flows. And there was a time where, I won't say there was a time, but I used to have these little spots under my skin. On occasion, sometimes you can get them, but there was a time where basically I had loads of them. flyer. But there was a time where I basically had loads of these little spots on my skin. It happened when I was in year 10 or year 11. And the thing is, these spots, you can't pop them. They were under the surface of the skin, not like, you know, the big red ones that you get. Nothing like that. And then in 2021, whenever I was going through this thing in January, I just thought to myself, you know what, this new version of myself, I'm not going to have these spots, because my diet's going to be so clean, everything's going to be so optimized. I'm just not going to have them spots. And before I knew it, I'll be honest, before I knew it, one time I was just washing my face before I was going to sleep, and I just looked in the mirror like this, just checking out my skin, and I was like, the spots are gone. The spots are gone. And the thing is, because you've envisioned yourself, and the reality in your mind is you no longer have them spots. You basically no longer have them spots. When it reflects in the 3D, it's like, it's already done. It was always done. It was already done. And that's the thing I'm trying to explain to yourself. If you want to fully change yourself, fully, you need to envision yourself. Like, go to sleep. Like, if you're someone, I'll give you practical advice. If you're someone who wants to become lean tomorrow, not tomorrow, but from tomorrow, your journey starts. What you can do is go to sleep tonight and kill your old self, and wake up tomorrow as the new athletic version of yourself. Just think to yourself, you know what, I am an athlete. Every single decision you make from tomorrow onwards, you should ask yourself, would an athlete do this? With someone who has an aesthetic physique, someone with a six-pack, someone who is 12% body fat, would they do this habit? Ask yourself that every single day, and before you know it, you will basically morph and become that person who is 12% body fat, that person who is an athlete, so that person who has an aesthetic physique. Take 5 minutes tonight, sit down, picture yourself, picture the 2.0 version of yourself, see him clearly, how the person dresses, how they talk, what he does when he's tired, and the time he goes to sleep. Write it down ideally, and then start doing that stuff. Start doing that. Start doing the things which you have written down. Start doing it from tomorrow. And that's how change actually starts. Not from a diet, not from a program, not from, you know, watching a YouTube video. It starts from making a decision. And the first decision I made was, it was a simple one. I decided I am going to fast from meal to meal. And even then, I would start intermittent fasting, because when I lost weight, I started fasting, and I was fasting and I felt good, the body felt good. And because of that, and because I did the right habits, I lost 30 pounds, around 30 pounds, usually a bit less. But because I stopped fasting, and there was a bunch of other things which I wasn't doing right, I just thought, you know what, let me start fasting. That will be the first thing I do. And because I thought, I knew this would happen, I said, let me start fasting, because fasting comes with a lot of side benefits too. With fasting, because you're not always eating, you're not focusing on food, you have a lot of mental clarity. And because you have a lot of mental clarity, and because your body is in ketosis, you can basically think clearly, and the decisions you make, the actions you do, they're a lot more clever than someone who has brain fog, because they're full of carbohydrates and sugary sweets. So confidence isn't about looks. It's about alignment. When your daily actions match the vision you have in your head, that's when you really feel unstoppable, and you have an unbelievable amount of momentum. The body just becomes proof of what your mind already decided. If you're looking to start building the 2.0 version of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, then join my free schooling community. We've got systems that build mind, training, nutrition, recovery, mindset, links in the bio. And if this video was something you can relate to, then check the next video on the screen right now.